Well, good day, everybody. This is Bugeater 64. Welcome you to another stream here on the good old Twitch channel. Today, we're going to be flying one of my all-time favorite aircraft, and that is the X-Aviation Mitsubishi MU-2. This is version 1.8. Now, this is in response to an update of a video that I made for my YouTube channel, W. Simpson, at YouTube, and where I was having a number of issues with version 1.8. Any version of the MU2 was not flying properly in X-Plane 11. Now, just a few days ago, X-Aviation released the version 1.8, which is the X-Plane 11 update, and I've had great response from the video. I really appreciate everybody that has watched it and given me comments on it and have told me, just like I asked them to, that it works fine in X-Plane 11.05, which is excellent to hear. X-Aviation has done their job. They did exactly what they said they were going to do, and they have made an X-Plane 11 compatible airplane. Now, that being said, part of the issue I was having turned out that when I did my download, there was apparently a glitch. So I completely erased and got rid of and dumped and trashed my download and got a clean download and uploaded it to X-Plane 11. I fly right now in X-Plane 11.10 Bravo 5, so it's beta, and I wanted to see if I could get this thing to fly properly in the beta arena as we get closer to the final release of X-Plane 11.10. So that being said, I was able to do some things I've never had to do with the MU2. This is a very, very unique aircraft. The MU2 in the real world takes a special certification, basically a check certification, to even fly this thing. It's a very unique general aviation aircraft, very powerful twin turbo engines, and so it's got some very unique things. Well, here in the sim world, guess what? It's got some very unique things also. That being said, let me show you what I've had to do here. We'll get inside the cockpit. All right. Now, that being said, here we go. Let's pull up my controls. All right. I use the Cytec X55 Pro stick and HOTAS. So with that, let's go back to the airplane here. In many airplanes, you have both prop RPM knobs and your mixture or conditioners knobs. In the MU2, you do not. You've got basically where what would normally be your fuel mixture is also deals with RPM. These cute little gauges here. And so I have those set up to specific wheels on my throttles. Now, the throttles, when you set them up, they will only come back to flight idle, and they stop there. So the problem was, and why we had so many issues, especially in the beta, was I could not, when I would hit my reversers, which won't work here with the engines on, they would go all the way back to the ground operation only, or reverse. They'd go back to full reverse, and I couldn't get them to find a happy medium. In order to taxi this airplane, you have to go into beta, which, let me throw these up out of the way, is this black and yellow striped area. Once you do that, that's where you control the taxi speed. First thing you do is you put the mixtures all the way forward. The engines sound like they want to run right away from the airplane. It gets quite loud. And then what you do is you have to assign a reverse. And once you've done that, then you can slowly pull this down. If somewhere right in this area where I'm moving the throttles now is a sweet spot that lets the aircraft move slowly forward instead of wanting to basically race at takeoff speed down the taxiway. But if you go too far back, then the propellers go into reverse, low reverse mode. So the idea was, how do I do that? All right. That being said, let's go to, here we go. Now, let's pull up a picture of my HOTAS. This knob right here, which normally, these two are the ones I use for mixture on most of my aircraft. These are my propeller RPMs for most aircraft. So, I've still got those set up on the blue knobs in the MU-2. The thing I like about X-Plane 11 too was that it's so easy to set up specific profiles for individual aircraft, so that all I have to do, like right now I've got this set up for MU-2. I also have a user profile which I use for just about any other aircraft. I've got a profile for my Victor EV55, my PMDG DC6, which I really don't need anymore since PMDG DC6 doesn't work at all. You know, in X-Plane 11 beta. But I'm working on that too. So, but today we're dealing with the MU-2. That being said, what I was able to do, and let me get that picture back up, is this knob right here, which is axis, or number 4, axis 3. I set it up for reverse. Not reverse thrusters or anything like that. Just simple reverse. By doing so, when I twist it, that moves gradually into the beta range. So, there you have it. That was my fix to make this work just as it should in X-Plane 11 beta. So, that being said, let's go ahead and let me get this out of the way because it blocks some of the things I need. And let's go ahead and get started and get this airplane set up. So, we don't need to be looking at my mug anymore. So, welcome again to the stream, and let's get flying. Alright, let's get her started. And we're going to fly. Right now we're sitting at San Diego. Most of you are used to that by now, because I use quite often a little short flight from San Diego to John Wayne International in Santa Ana, California. About 65 miles. And it doesn't take very long. And it's a good way to test some of the things in the airplane. So, turn the key on. Imagine that. And we'll go ahead and turn on inverter, turn on our avionics, turn on, okay, get rid of the caution, turn on the fuel pumps, turn our transfer to auto, that way it'll get fuel if it needs it from any of the other fuel tanks. Alright, and let's see, let's go ahead and turn on our beacon And we'll turn on the strobe anyway, just for giggles. Alright. Now, that being said, let's get set the right engine to run. We're going to move these back to start and taxi. Okay, right engine should be ready to start. Keep your fingers crossed. And looks like we've got a good right engine start. And you can see percent RPM. That is going to change once we go in. And I'll give you a little demonstration of what it was doing and how we fixed it. Alright, so that right engine is up and running. There we go, come on. There we go. Okay, good start there. And we'll get our and we'll go ahead and set it to halt. And transmit. And let's go ahead and get our flight plan set up. Alrighty, flight plan. And we're going to Santa Ana. Alrighty. And looks like we're set. Alright. Yaw dampener. Let's check. Okay. Alright. So, if we were to move right now, take a look at the co-pilot side, and everything's looking good. Check our overhead and nav lights, taxi lights. Let's go ahead and get our landing lights. Now in this airplane we don't leave the landing lights out like under 10,000 feet because of the aircraft's speedability. And the way it's configured. Let's take a look outside and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And you see how this is your landing lights here, and they fold out from the fuselage. Now, anything over about 180 knots, maybe to 200 knots, in the real world, that airspeed would basically rip these off. So, when we take off, one of the things we'll do is we'll turn off the landing lights and try to remember to turn them back on before we land. But if not, hey, I'm not a professional pilot. This is a simulation, and what can I tell you? We do the best we can just for fun and giggles. Alright, so With that being said, let me show you what happens. We've got this set up here. We've got these basic in the taxi mode, and these are all the way back. And if I release the parking brake, boom, it takes off like a rocket. And this was the problem we were having. We could not get that to stop because we could not get this. And that's, I'm clicking my beta, and you see the blinking lights right here. It's trying to go into beta. It won't. So, and with the knob sitting with the mixture and RPM sitting in the taxi mode, you can't get it into beta. So what we have to do is we move these all the way up. With that, then I can put it into beta. Now, and let's go ahead and get our generators turned on. My goodness, Williams. Alright. With that, now if I release the parking brake, it gradually moves forward just like it's supposed to. And we can get ready to go ahead and take off. You also notice the gauges. When it's set up this way, how low the RPMs is. And that makes life a whole lot better. And makes this airplane completely flyable and just wonderful. Like it always was in X-Plane 10. And apparently as it is in X-Plane 11.5 or 05. So we'll go up here and we will get ready to take off. And we will fly to San Diego. I'm sorry, from San Diego to Santa Ana. And I do appreciate everybody coming, and I hope you enjoy the flight. So basically anything that happens from here on is all pilot error, because the airplane is working absolutely beautifully. Get out here on the runway. All right. So flaps in takeoff position, and everything's looking good. So let's go. Apply some throttle. It's a bit, yeah, it's really touchy. Airspeed is alive. Let's see if I can keep it on the runway. And pull back on the stick. And we are up. Landing gear coming up. Flaps coming up. And we say goodbye to San Diego. Pull back a little bit here. Alright, so let's go ahead and hook up nav. Get our autopilot ready. See if we can do this without killing ourselves. This has always been tricky for me. Okay, I think we got it this time. And let's set the altitude for 3,000. And our airspeed right now is 150 climbing. We can pull back on the mixture a little bit. So everything's looking good. Oh yeah, let's turn these off. Turn off our taxi. And everything else looks good. Looks like a pretty nice day in Southern California. And 3,000 feet. Speed is coming up. I'm going to pull it back just a bit. Okay, let's look at flight plan here. Alright, we'll get that back on where it's supposed to be. Like I said, it's pilot air. And let's take a look outside at some of the orthos. There's our pretty little airplane. Yep, so I completely got rid of it, completely deleted it from my system, reloaded it, updated my livery on it, and that's what we have. Now the atmosphere and everything, excuse me, is stock X-Plane 11. And the scenery's done with Ortho 4XP. And which does a beautiful job. Very, very happy with it. So, we're just going to fly up the coast here to Santa Ana. And let's take a quick look here. KSNA Whoa. Alright. Oh, I know what it is. Yeah. KS. Here we go, William. See? Told you it would be pilot error. Okay. So, let me show you where we're going to be landing today. The rule of thumb normally is, with the prevailing winds, is 20 right. But today I think well, depend what I've got in the flight plan, we'll see. But today I think I'd like to land on 02 left, which comes in from the ocean. So, we'll see how that goes. Everything's subject to change. But the airplane is flying beautifully. Everything is working just fine. And you can see our airspeed's at about 230. This airplane is a rocket. A lot of fun to fly. It's one of my all-time favorite general aviation airplanes in X-plane. I said, loved it in X-plane 10. Was very disappointed when I couldn't get it to work in X-plane 11. Now with the update though, I said it works perfectly in X-plane 11.05. And now we've got it figured out for X-plane 10 beta 5. So a little bit of a lag here in the stream. Not too bad. Usually happens when ortho tiles are being added in. Otherwise, I'm getting between, you may be able to see it, but between 40 and 52, 53 frames a second. So, which in X-plane 11, until these updates, I was only getting 25 to 30. But yeah, and I can show you what I've got my settings at here. Let's go ahead and these are my graphic settings. Visual effects all the way, textures at maximum, and then world objects maximum. So, you know, and I'm averaging, 40 plus to 50 plus frames a second. So, no complaints there. Especially when I'm dealing with orthos, photorealistic sceneries and so on, and cockpits that are as intricate and detailed as the MU-2. So it doesn't get much better than this. So, and hey Chili, how you doing, buddy? Got the MU-2 working in beta, so what can I say? Good to see you. Hope you're having a great day. Had my hands full here a minute ago. but she's following the flight plan perfectly. You know, it's just a real pleasure to fly. And I'm not a professional pilot by any means, but I spent in my military career spent a few hundred hours in different aircraft of different types, both you know, flying in them, jumping out of them, and actually even at times being able to fly them, being trained. So unfortunately, with my age and health, this is the only flying I get to do anymore. And I certainly do have fun doing it, and that's why I do videos, and I'm learning how to do these streams, do them a little bit better. So I hope you all enjoy it, because I've sure have a lot of fun bringing it to you, even when I mess up. And I've had some epic crashes. So, but hopefully today we're not going to do that. This is one of the things that X-Plane 11 has to work on. That is the nuclear power plant, if I'm correct, that we're coming up on. Yeah, in San Clemente. And I can tell you from experience, there is no such thing as black smoke coming in. If black smoke ever comes out of that nuclear power plant, it's time to leave Southern California. Matter of fact, it may be too late. So the contrails in X-Plane 11 and this, which is actually, in actuality, if you see anything, it's steam coming out of the stack, should be white. But in their contrail, jet contrails and aircraft contrails at altitude, they look like oil fires. And I know I've said this before and other things. What can I tell you? That's the one true disappointment in X-Plane 11 right now is they haven't even got close to having this right yet. They're doing so well in so many other aspects, so hopefully they'll get that taken care of and it'll all work out. So, let's see here. We've got 17 miles to our next waypoint, which in this airplane only takes about 4 minutes. So let's move over to the co-pilot seat. Take a look outside. And this right here, this is one of the things that X-Aviation has done so well, is these reflection on the windows. That's actually this fire extinguisher reflecting off the glass. It's just little things like that that make the total experience so much better. So much better. Just a really neat airplane. So fast. I mean, you handle it. If you really want to push this thing to the limit, you can fly this thing like a military fighter jet. It just handles so quickly and easily. Just a neat airplane. Now, the big test, we've got the taxi situation taken care of. It worked perfectly, you know, very easily. Was able to taxi it to the runway, prepare for flight. You know, the next thing is going to be the landing, about slowing the airplane down. And we'll see how it goes. So, as they say, keep your fingers crossed, hold on to your butts, because it's going to be quite a flight. especially with me at the helm. Oh, that's right, that's Navy. Okay, me at the controls. So, and this is Southern California. Just a few people living down there. And where we're going is just beyond that hill there, I believe, is where we're going to find the airport. And hopefully the outcome will be much better than my last video in the MU-2. So here we come. And so, right. So let's plan. Go to procedures. We'll select our approach. And we want, what did I say? 02. Well, when all else fails. Look at the map. 02 left. That's right. Okay. So. Let's do it this way. Enter. 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 Okay. Let's see if we can see that. That's the freeway. And that's the airport. So let's see how it follows our approach vectors. Okay, like I said, pilot air. So, that being said, airplane is mine. actually landed the way it's supposed to be. Oh, don't need the lag. And you see she's starting to slow down. And I can even help it out some here by putting it in beta. And we'll go ahead and put the gear down. First degree of flaps. And okay, let's get these up. There's my stack. Yeah, it says we're too high, but okay, settle down. There we go. Alright, well, we're down. Wasn't the prettiest landing in the world. Flaps are up. But, you see, we got her slowed down. We got her taxied. I got zero complaints on this airplane now. Took a lot of figuring and a little extra texture, tinkering. But she flies really, really well. Okay, so yeah, get rid of these. Get rid of this again. Swing her around. And set parking brake. Okay, so excuse me. With that, let's go ahead and look at that very strange landing. It wasn't the airplane, it was all pilot. Excuse me, my goodness. All right, let's take a look at this. But we got the airplane really slowed down easily. Not a problem at all. So like I said, I've got zero issues with this airplane. I've just got to learn how to fly it better. Used to be pretty good with it because I used to fly it all the time in X-Plane 10. But anybody wants a really nice, high performance, fun to fly airplane to add to their hangar, you can't go wrong with this one. Like I said, you just got an X-Plane 11.5. No issues whatsoever. In beta, just a few little tinkering and extra steps, and yeah, as you can see, she flies fine. Pilot ain't worth a squat, but by God, she flies fine. So, and didn't need very much runway. So, there you have it. The X-Aviation Mitsubishi MU-2 in X-Plane 11 Beta 5. X-Plane 1110 B5. So, what can I tell you? I just want to thank everybody for coming to the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had a good time bringing it to you. So until next time, this is Bugeater64 at Santa Ana, California with my Mitsubishi MU-2 saying so long, and until next time, safe flying.